All right, so 2022's Night Shift is a Netflix original film directed by J.J. Perry, screenplay written by Tyler Tice and Shay Hatton, story by Tyler Tice. And the synopsis here is a hardworking blue collar dad who just wants to provide a good life for his quick witted 10-year-old daughter. His mundane San Fernando Valley pool cleaning job is a front for his real source of income, hunting and killing vampires. It stars Jamie Foxx as Bud Jablonski, and we also have Dave Franco in here as Seth, and Snoop Dogg as Big John Elliott. Pretty fun cast there. I like Dave Franco for the most part. We're not going to talk about his brother right now, but Jamie Foxx, amazing actor. I really loved him. Him in here kind of reminds me just a little bit of his character. Bats, I believe, from Baby Driver. Love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and he's great in that film. And just kind of the badassery that he had in this film, he kind of has in here, but a little bit more so because, he's literally murking these vampires. But Dave Franco as Seth, his character is kind of hit and miss for me. Some of the comedy with his character. In the trailer, if you watched it, there's a scene where he pees his pants, and they do that more than once. And the first time it was funny enough, whatever. But, having a joke like that in the trailer kind of undercuts the joke watching it in the movie. So you see it in the movie and it's like, that's kind of funny, but you see it more than once and you're just like, all right, I get it. He peed his pants, whatever. He's a weakling. He's not meant for the field. And then you have Snoop Dogg as Big John Elliott, who is a certified badass, but honestly, we really don't see enough of him in the film to really talk about him in depth. And then, let me see here. I believe the villain of the film is played by Carla Souza. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Who plays Audrey San Fernando. This is the most forgettable villain of all time. Honestly, the villain is probably the last thing they thought of when it came to this movie. Not a strong villain whatsoever. And it's a bit of a spoiler to say this, but obviously, she ends up getting taken down in the end. And the way she gets taken down is kind of anticlimactic. So, I will say the final fight scene kind of lost me. The final act in general kind of lost me in a few spaces. And then also, entertained me in other parts as well. But overall, the action in this film is my favorite part of it. The way it's shot, there's a lot of really good shots in here. Let me look at my notes to see exactly what I said. Nice camera work, especially in the action. The camera work. There's a chase scene where the camera comes out of the sunroof and it's like a drone shot, so it keeps going up. And I thought that was the coolest shot ever. Then there's other shots where Jamie Foxx's character's flipping a vampire over and the camera flips with it. And it's little subtle stuff like that that I very much appreciate. Even the smaller stuff when it's not an action scene, when they're just walking and it's just a one shot of them walking. Even the small stuff like that I appreciate. So there's a lot of good aspects to this film. Some of the comedy really lands for me. Some of the characters are really fun to watch. Dave Franco, as annoying as his character it can be at sometimes, I still like him. I probably honestly like him more than Jamie Foxx's character, just because I don't know. There's something about Dave Franco that I like. His comedic timing in this movie is very funny. He is just kind of there to be the weakling, but also you're kind of rooting for him because, yeah, he's the underdog. Jamie Foxx, on the other hand, you're rooting for him because the whole thing with him is that he's trying to provide for his kid. His wife might be moving to Florida. This takes place in Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley to be specific. And yeah, they might be moving away. They don't know anything about what he does. The thing I was curious about going into this movie is if it would be like a Bright situation, the Netflix movie Bright with Will Smith, where all these monsters and fairy tale creatures live in the real world and people know about them. But it seems like here, the whole vampire thing is kind of like an underground thing. People don't necessarily know about it. So his wife and his daughter doesn't know about what he does for a living. So that's kind of like a point of contention there. But yeah, Some other actors we have in here. We got Steve Howery. Yeah, no, not Howery. Steve Howie as Mike Nazarian. He's only in one scene, but it's a great action scene where he is there with, I believe, is it Scott Adkins as Darren Nazarian? Yeah, should be. They're like brothers, vampire hunters in this movie, and there's a whole scene with them where Bud, Seth, Mike, and Dyron, hopefully I'm saying that right, all show up to this like nice suburban house, but it turns out to be a hive for vampires, and it's the coolest action scene in this movie. Honestly, it feels like it should have been the scene for the final act, but that was really fun to watch. And Steve Howie, I like him a lot. Scott Adkins, I'm not too familiar with. Maybe if I looked at his IMDb page, I'd recognize some stuff that he's been in. But Steve Howie, he's from the American version of Shameless. I think his character's name is Kevin. Always liked him on that show, so it was fun to see him in here. Eric Lange as Ralph Seeger. He's like the head of this union, vampire hunting union that they have in the movie. And then Peter Stormare, hopefully I'm saying that right, as Troy. He's kind of like a pawn shop, vampire tooth kind of dealer kind of dude. You bring the teeth to him and he gives you money for him. But yeah, and then Megan Good as Jocelyn Jablonski, the wife or ex-wife of Bud. And then playing the kid is Zion Brodnax. Hopefully I'm saying that right, as Paige. That's pretty much the main cast for you. It's a fun film overall. The concept isn't anything I think is like too original, but they had fun with it. I mean, my favorite part of this film is just watching Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco just riff off of each other and kind of become buds in the film. No pun intended. But yeah, just seeing them, like, at first, they don't like each other too much. Seth, he is not made for the field, and so he's this weakling out there. He's honestly more of a liability than anything, but he's sent out there by Ralph Seeger to keep an eye on Bud because Bud, he, I believe, got kicked out of the union before for not following protocol. So this is like his last chance that he got from Big John Elliott because Snoop Dogg's characters, he's the big hoss of the union. So anything, if you have a recommendation from him, then you gotta get a meeting with the boss. So yeah, it's just one of those characters. He definitely smokes some weed in the movie, as Snoop Dogg does. Wouldn't expect anything less than that. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to come up with other things to say about the movie, so let me look at my notes here. Dope opening fight scene, definitely, definitely. Um, oh yeah, they do some fun effects with the vampires where you actually can't see them in the mirror. But a lot of times when you see like invisible people, you just don't see anything in the mirror. But no, they have clothes on. Those clothes aren't invisible, so you just see floating clothes fighting Jamie Foxx, and I thought that was really fun. The traditional vampire things are true in this, but also there's other kinds of vampires and other things that they do to, not have these weaknesses weaken them as much, I guess you could say. Like they said, they have sunscreen so they can be out in the sun for like 20-ish minutes. So like wooden stakes, that still gets them. Shit, what kind of bullets? It's not lead bullets. It's silver bullets. Silver bullets get them, and beheading them. What else? I already said the whole invisible and mirror thing, and the sun hurts them. So yeah, they stick to some traditional stuff, but they do some spins on it, which don't completely work for me. But I'm willing to not suspend my disbelief, but just kind of roll with the punches, I guess. Let me see here. I already talked about the amazing camera work for sure. And I already talked about that peeing the pants joke that they did more than once. The second time it came up, I was just like, okay, you did it once. That was enough. It was funny the first time for the most part, but doing it twice just kind of ruined it for me. So, yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. I wish this review could be longer, but There's not a whole lot I can say about this. It's a good film. It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Is it my favorite film of this year? Not at all. Is it the worst film I've seen so far this year? No, not at all. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But if they made a sequel, I would definitely go back and watch this one. Honestly, I would like to see a sequel with these same characters as well. So that would be really fun to see where these characters could go next. So mostly positive on this movie, but it didn't completely blow me away. And there's also some things in there that I noticed that I was like, that doesn't really make sense. Like in the final battle, I'm not going to spoil anything huge, but like he sets up a certain trap. And I'm just like, how would you have had the time to set that up without being noticed? And there's just small things like that just really confused me. Little plot holes, I guess you could say. So there's definitely some plot holes. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of complaints other than like, those plot holes, and then the villain is just completely underwhelming. Like you don't get enough time with the villain to really give a shit about them. They set her up to be like this big boss that everybody kind of has to bend the knee to and do as she says, but we never really see a whole lot of that. We don't see her actually like, you know, bending and breaking these people so they'll do whatever the hell she wants. We don't see any of that. We just hear about it. So I don't know. She's not that interesting of a villain to me. A pretty weak villain, I will say. So that definitely takes it down quite a bit because I mean a movie is only the protagonist and just the film overall. It's only as good as the antagonist. Like you need to have a good antagonist for the film, and you don't need an antagonist for every film because there's movies that don't have them and they work very well. But if you're doing a movie like this and you're gonna have a main villain, you got to do more with it because it was really, I wouldn't say disappointing, but just like I said, underwhelming. So the villain not strong at all. Maybe physically strong because she definitely kicked Jamie Foxx's character around quite a bit towards the end there, but um, I don't know. You just never really got to know anything about her and come to understand why you and the other characters that she's around should fear her. So, yeah. Overall, I think I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely enjoyed quite a bit of it, but, that villain, it really messed a lot of things up for me, honestly. And then towards that final fight scene between Jamie Foxx and Carlos Souza's character, just felt a little anticlimactic. So, yeah, there you go. There's my review for, excuse me, felt the burp coming up. Uh, there's my review for 2022's Day Shift on Netflix. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you in the middle? I am in the middle, but more towards liking it. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know. And if you haven't seen it, let me know if you're planning on watching it. Did my review make you want to watch it or make you not want to watch it? Just let me know, I'd like to hear from you guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And I will be back sometime during the next week or so to talk about God knows what. I need to watch the Alien franchise, so you'll probably be getting a few Alien reviews. So maybe expect that within the next week or so. And then next Thursday, I should be seeing a couple of Idris Elba movies, doing a little Idris Elba double feature. So stay tuned for all that. Like I said, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload so you can get those videos. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Pop Culture Podcast. Link in the bio of my Instagram page will take you to a page full of links where you'll find a link to my website, my TeePublic store, where to find my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.